Happening now as flu cases surge in southern Nevada. We're learning there's a shortage of flu tests. Fox 5's Danny Mastin spoke with one local urgent care and shows us how they're keeping up with demand.
More and more people are coming into urgent cares like this Quick Fix Urgent Care at the Fashion Show Mall, needing to get tested for the flu. But I'm told there are challenges with supply keeping up with the demand. Flu cases are on the rise, but flu tests are diminishing.
This season has been particularly hard in terms of the numbers of the flu cases that we're seeing, as well as the early onset of the flu this season. And that's caused a strain on the the supply.
Dr. Elad Beiser with Quick Fix Urgent Care says supplies used for tests like the flu, COVID, and RSV, such as lab machinery and swabs, are taking up the resources to be able to supply enough flu tests.
I know that a lot of hospitals throughout Vegas and the rest of the country do have a certain allotment of tests and are running out.
Beiser says when a patient comes in with typical flu symptoms, they test them immediately.
It's important to get tested early. There are medicines for the flu that, should you get tested in the first 48 hours and be positive, these medicines will reduce the duration and the severity of symptoms.
It says though supply is limited, as of now he believes the clinic will be able to keep up with the demand.
So we were fortunate enough to order early on during the season and order enough, I think, to provide us enough testing for the entire season.
Beiser says on some days they are testing 5 to 6 people for the flu, and on other days are administering as much as 24 tests. Dr. Beiser tells me it is best to get vaccinated for the flu, as it reduces your chances of getting those severe flu-like symptoms by 40 to 60%. Reporting from Quick Fix Urgent Care, I'm Danny Mastin, Fox 5 News, Local, Las Vegas.